Hello, and welcome to the Digital CxO podcast. I'm Amanda Razani, and I'm excited to be here today with Frank Fawzi. He is the CEO of IntelePeer. How are you doing today?
Doing well. Thank you for having me, Amanda. Good to meet you.
Happy to have you on our show. So tell us about IntelePeer and what services do you provide?
Yeah, happy to do that. I'm excited to be here as well. One of my favorite topics to talk about is IntelePeer, the business we're doing and what we're doing for our customers. The companies we've been here serving our customers, the verticals we serve, which are financial services, healthcare, insurance, utilities, retail, logistics, transportation for over 21 years. IntelePeer is a sizable company with thousands of customers that are growing very rapidly. We have, as one of our core values, is to delight our customers. And in turn, as we've built that concept of how to deliver better customer experience to our customers, we focus our services and our products and our solutions. And how can we help our customers do the same to the consumer, to the consumers that they're serving? And really, obviously, over time, this story did not start with AI, but it started with high-scale, reliable, mission-critical communications between a business and its users, its consumers. And over time, as we build more innovation and automation in our capabilities, moving up the capabilities that more recently in adding generative AI. Prior to that, what I would call classic AI. And all of doing that, the aim and the goal of the business is how can I help our enterprise customers be more efficient, being able to deliver better customer experience or patient experience in healthcare to their end users.
Wonderful. So AI seems to be at the center of everyone's minds these days. It's advanced very rapidly, generative AI, the last couple of years. So what are your thoughts as far as where we are right now with AI in the enterprise?
Yeah, so tech waves happen every 10 to 15 years. I really do believe this is massive tech wave, but one thing about tech waves, they tend to follow similar patterns. That there's definitely a hype, and you'll have a lot of players trying to jump into the market, and then eventually the market sifts through the different vendors and players in the market and comes up with a set of providers that can truly deliver the business outcomes and the value that the technology promises to deliver. If you can't do that, if you cannot deliver business outcomes, AI is just purely a technology. If it doesn't serve the needs of the consumers or the customers that we serve, and in turn their consumers, then it's not effective. Today, I would say that having seen these tech waves from back in the '90s with my last or certainly early one of my first venture-backed firm, and then onwards, every one of them followed a very small pattern. Today, we're at the cusp of moving from the early innings where early adopters were jumping on the technology, where they're excited about the potential, to having to validate that you can deliver that potential you promise it to deliver. So now, Gartner refers to that as the in this phase as the trough of disillusionment. I refer to it more as the opportunity to validate your solutions to the consumers. So as a result, of course, then with the customers that we have and built over the last several years, as we've been delivering AI solutions prior to generative AI, and more recently over the last 18 months or so with generative AI, the key is, what are you doing for me and what value you're delivering? What's the ROI? What's the return on investment on the investments that they're making in our solution? How could our solution be self-funding early on? So I think that's really where we are at this point. I think this is what I've noticed also though about this cycle versus the last few cycles is the time it elapsed is a lot faster. It took several years to go from when the internet started, if you think about Netscape and so on, and all the way until we got real commercially viable applications and uses for it. And similarly with the fiber wave of the '90s, it took several years to get to that. I really do believe that this cycle is much more compressed. We've seen the move from hype to this the point of needing to have a proof points of validation in about 4 quarters. versus other cycles that might have taken several quarters to get to this, or several years to get to this point in time. So that acceleration in the cycle is actually a good thing, because I think as a result, I anticipate in the course of 2025, every single customer, if they're working with an AI provider to help them improve their customer experience, they'll be looking for real tangible outcomes. And if they're not the early adopters, but they're more in the middle of that adoption cycle, they'll be looking at how can they deploy those validated solutions that can deliver the value, so they're not left behind their competition, competitors and the competition that has already deployed it.
Yes, this technology is moving very fast, and it seems like at the center of any digital transformation initiative, AI is a big player. So with that, the high demand for AI, there's a problem though with the GPU chips. So high demand, but low supply of necessary GPUs. So what are your thoughts on this, and do you have any solutions?
So this really, this cycle of supply and demand getting ahead of each other is not unusual at these early stages of every tech wave. We've seen this. I've seen this personally. I think we've all seen this in different tech waves where you get a situation where the supply gets ahead of the demand, or the demand gets ahead of the supply. Eventually, they come together. We at IntelePeer, we're not in the infrastructure layer. We're consumers of that infrastructure. So obviously, we value the availability of adequate GPUs and adequate AI models that can be available to us to build the solutions. We are much more so at the solution level of delivering that value and capturing that, helping our customers capture that value of the underlying technology, such as the chips and hardware itself, as well as, of course, the foundation model and models and the other technologies such as vector databases and RAGs and so on that come around them. I do think that markets will take care of that problem, and the supply and demand will eventually equalize. But the key here, because while GPUs are in short supply, you don't want to get in a situation where supply gets ahead of the demand. Those applications that we're building and delivering to our customers are creating real value, are really important, incredibly important, so that it could eventually maintain that level of balance between supply and demand.
So you mentioned the healthcare industry, and it's not the only one that I'm seeing this, but I'm hearing a lot about co-pilots and AI agents that are helping the staff and also the customers and improving the experience on both ends. So from your experience, where do you see that going in the future? And are there any roadblocks business leaders are facing when they try to implement these types of tools?
Yeah, we operate in several fairly regulated industries. Certainly healthcare is being one of them, financial services, insurance, and so on. So those industries obviously have their own set of requirements and governance above and beyond what any other business would expect to be able to use AI and deploy AI and be able to make sure that the AI solutions are secure, are accurate, and so on. We've so speaking to healthcare specifically, and let me focus here on where we're seeing a lot of demand, which are multi-location healthcare groups, dental groups, MRI groups, you name it, GI, etc. So we're seeing significant amount of interest and demand and success in that multi-location. Why is that the case? Is a lot of these multi-locations need to standardize around a certain consistent communication between them and their patients. So think about a use case, like simple use case. You call your doctor, you call your dentist, you call your MRI clinic, and you want to schedule. Scheduling is a time-consuming element of interaction between a patient and a business. Well, imagine if you can take that out of the work of the front office worker and move it to a digital bot, an AI agent that can do a lot of this scheduling, changing its schedule, cancellations, reminders, and notifications. That's what we do. And by taking that workload away from the clinic's front office worker, they can now become much more focused on the interaction that they have with the patient as they walk through the door, rather than be on the phone responding to an inquiry about a schedule or a change or something like that. And that's the value we're creating for our healthcare customers, and certainly within the confines of course, the privacy and HIPAA and all regulatory requirements within the healthcare. But scheduling is a really great application for that. I would go into other ones such as insurance information collections, bill payments, and others. By taking a lot of these repetitive and I would say somewhat mundane tasks away from the healthcare practice, we can allow the practice to provide higher value interactions with their patients, which obviously is ultimately useful for the patient, useful for the practice, and creates better engagement and better customer and patient experience without having to add a lot more folks in the front office to engage the customers as they look at support with those tasks and use cases that I described.
Absolutely. Well, if there was one key takeaway you could leave with our audience today, what would that be?
This technology and tech wave is massive. It will impact every single aspect of every business we operate with as consumers. The fact that obviously Apple recently just rolled out the GPT capabilities, the iPhone 16, has got put it in the hands of every single consumer that uses Apple, and I'm sure other Androids and so on will do the same. All the fact that we're all going to get much more comfortable with interacting with AI agents. And as we get comfortable accepting of AI agents, that's going to force businesses to accelerate the adoption of the AI agents, AI for customer experience and patient experience over the next 24 months, much more so than just us, the vendors, explaining the value proposition that we are doing today to our customers. So I'd really, truly see an influx of use cases, demand, and opportunities in this market for both the technology vendors as well as for the customers that can leverage this technology to help improve their delivery of the customer and patient experience.
Wonderful. Well, thank you for coming on our show and sharing your insights with us today.
Thank you, Amanda. Pleasure meeting you. Thank you.
All right. And thank you to our audience. Stay tuned. There's more.